I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power. Yeah, I know it's top of the AM. As you can see, my schedule's been hectic. A lot of things took place, but you can see I had to get out there and get my walk on. Um, See, I got on my clothes to walk in. Got a mile or two in real quick. T, what up? What up? I'm glad you here. Got one of the moderators here. You know, so we're gonna get in a quick couple of pages of book club, and then come back later on. You know, do what we do. But as you can see, this is how my time has been. It's been a lot of work. A lot of work, man. Our people have been going through a lot as far as, you know, their daily lives are concerned. You know? And daily lives are concerned. And a lot of people definitely have been reaching out and booking sessions, and between that and keeping myself balanced, schedule gets pretty hectic. Kenny Mack, what's up? What's up? Salute, salute, salute. What's good with you? What's good with you? Bernadette, Kenny Williams, Boogeyman, what up? What up? Grave Digger, what's going on with you? So we're gonna get as much as I can. I'm on double duty right now, outside, waiting while you know, women folk do women folk things. You know, I'm gonna get in as much as I can. Oh, T-shirt, what up, T? Brandon, salute. Much as we can, right here, right now on the outside. Let me see, it's a little dreary. Let me get a little something, man. And so if you got your books, we gotta get a little bit in, you know. And look, let me tell you, I get it, I understand it. I know this is engaging for most, you know, but if the scheduling is off, you have to allow me the space and time to make adjustments. Remember, as funny as YouTube is with how they monetize vids and stuff like that, you know, I have to make sure that I'm earning my keep, if you know what I'm saying. Work is always first. You understand? Now, again, if I have, the space like everyone else is eating, you know, 40, 50,000 subscribers and stuff like that, then it's a good give and take, you know? Then it's a good give and take. But work is always first. You understand? Always. I always have to get it in. So I know people are looking forward to specific segments. I can only do what I can only do. Alright? People are very, very fickle. Trust and believe. There's a difference between rooting and cheering and supporting. And we know historically our people do not, I repeat, do not support people such as myself. It's a very, very, very difficult course to maintain when you're going against the grain. People don't do it. We know that historically. So, you know, resources is always first. I've learned much from my predecessors. And I tell you, I see it all the time. I just seen one that calls me every day, texts every day, just out of the blue. And then I see them commenting and praising some broad that's totally opposite, totally left of our people. And I'm like, you can't support both. You can't rock with both. It's impossible. Impossible for you to rock with me and rock with somebody else. That shit just don't, because I'm totally against the grain. So I don't understand what people's minds be, you know? I really don't. That shit is just crazy, you know? And I put it, I'll you know, my mod, since we have a very, very tight relationship, I'll send them the screenshot of what I'm talking about. I'm like, we don't rock with this broad. But this one just, I mean, out of the blue, every day. Like, why are you hitting me and you rock with that shit? So people get kind of confused. So I'm not going to ever, like I teach y'all, don't ever sacrifice yourself. Don't sacrifice yourself. You got one self, one life. Don't ever sacrifice yourself for none of this shit. We've had too many sacrifice themselves for prison or death, and the people still out here doing their bullshit. You dig? So it's never to sacrifice yourself for this dumb shit. We have learned we are here to win. We're not here to wait. You understand? We're not here to fucking march. We're not here to protest. No. We're here to be strategic and to win. All that sacrificing yourself for bullshit for some people that's just going to keep doing their bullshit. I learned that shit from my mother when she passed, when she transitioned. For years. My mother made an attempt to get her younger sister clean, right? Somebody had hit her with some bad weed back in the days. It might have been dust, and my aunt was never the same. And eventually, when the crack era hit, she had substance abuse issues for her entire life. And my mother consistently tried to get her clean, going through shit. Aunt was putting hands on my grandmother, all type of way. I mean, she's a custody. And they never let her go. Never. They kept her in the house, all type of stuff. My mother transitioned, and this woman continuously did the same shit until she passed last year. You understand? I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't care what's in your DNA, what's in your lineage. Do not ever sacrifice yourself for people who shrug their shoulders and keep doing what the fuck they've been doing. You dig? When you hear, you're going to learn. If we're not winning, then we're not doing this shit. You understand? You fall back and you strike until you win. No more of that dumb shit. Never sacrifice yourself. I wouldn't care who they are. And that's going, I'm telling you, you got our people twisted. They following these dumbass conscious community motherfuckers, these fake woke people who get up and they got their motherfucking ass stuck to their drawers and don't know shit about struggle. Nothing about it. They don't practice no theory. They coming from doctrines that they inherited. They don't know shit. Don't sacrifice yourself for that stupid shit. I'm telling you, your people will not only sell you out, but they will goddamn dig the grave for you. Understand that. Be mindful of who you are around. what you commit yourself to. Got me? All right, let's do what we do. And we're on page 50. Remember, this book is not like our previous book. All right? I'm telling you, we could go through a page or two, and it'll take you there. You have to reset. You have to really comprehend what's being said and making an attempt to apply it to what we're going through now, because some of the conditions are similar and the institutions are still here. But remember, and I always implore you to remember, and this is rotary phone era thinking, and we are in a smartphone age. The only reason why we use this as a reference is because globally, many did not rock with this. It didn't resonate with a lot, and people chose a capitalism route. All right? So we use this as reference to show you what it looks like when people fight and win. But a lot of the strategies and the thoughts do not apply today. Understand? Even though some of these people are still in charge, are still making moves, and are still calling shots, because they have been practicing and have not only inherited but pushed through the same thoughts of the oppressors from then, right? Doesn't mean that we're able to take everything literally. So that's why I don't care if it's a paragraph, I don't care if it's a page, right? Jamaica, what's good? Good. Yes, brethren. We take our time with it. All right? So we're on page 50, I believe. And we're in the second paragraph. All right? The problem of truth ought also to be considered. In every age among the people, truth is the property of the national cause. No absolute verity, no discourse on the purity of the soul can shake this position. The native replies to the living lie of the colonial situation by an equal falsehood. His dealings with his fellow nationals are open. They are strained and incomprehensible with regard to the settlers. Truth is that which hurries on the breakup of the colonialist regime. It is that which promotes the emergence of the nation. It is all that protects the natives and ruins the foreigners. In this colonialist context, there is no truthful behavior, and the good is quite simply that which is evil for them. Dig? So this is why I say truth is always universal. You must deal with truth and transparency. We cannot deal with false narratives. And that's exactly where we sit today, with everybody being allowed to create their opinions into solid facts and run with it. That's where we're at today. Social media has allowed people to sit in their basements and misinterpret all type of shit, or just really sit down where we at now and creating spaces that, you know, everyone is calling cap now. Like, cap is front and line, just extreme with this shit. And you have people who've become leaders because others lend their attention to them and follow them based on cap and false narratives. like that. And people get tight when I say it. FBA, right? ADOS, all this separation shit. As if that is truth. There is no truth in that. It's all subjective. There's no truth in that. And anybody who promotes separation from our people, within our people, should be your enemy. That's who your enemy is. You don't see your oppressor separating himself. They don't separate themselves like that. You understand? They don't do that. They may show you, right, the false narratives of them bickering with each other, and the news will promote that shit. That's that fake propaganda, and then they get behind the scenes and they're sipping champagne, giggling and laughing about how you still oppressed. So when you have black people, melanated people try to separate you based on the simplest dumb shit that has been inherited, these things have been inherited. Even the claim of democracy is an inherited belief. Do y'all know that? When they claimed democracy and they had enslaved people fighting for democracy, and that has become the standard of enslaved people's beliefs. You don't get that? That wasn't a cry for people who were shackled, raped, beaten. That wasn't the democracy. That cry didn't come from those people. That was an inherited belief. When they speak of wars, revolutionary wars and things of that such, that's not something that you can even try to understand coming from you. Because at what point was the democratic process going to help you, slave person? So everything that these individuals make an attempt to push or throw in your face as scholarship is a bunch of bullshit. It makes absolutely no sense. How can you sit there and believe in democracy when you have no idea what the true meaning of it is? You didn't come from Europe and fight to get free from a king. That wasn't yours. Or from a queen. That wasn't your struggle. You were enslaved by everyone. Arabs, Euros, Spaniards. So your cry wasn't for democracy. Your ancestors fought to get chains and shackles up off of them from anyone who were under those thoughts. The truth is essential here. These people don't have anything to stand on in these conscious communities, in these woke communities. They don't have anything to stand on. You always have to ask them, what is your doctrine? Where did you get it from? That's where you begin with. And most of them don't have a clue. Or they point right back to the euro. So if you inherited the Euro so deeply in your essence and in your thoughts, you ain't black, melanated, RBG. You just a custodian for their thoughts. So what are you pushing? Especially when you promote separation. See, my job is not to be concerned about what somebody thinks about me because they from the Caribbean or they from the continent or wherever they from. I'm not concerned whether or not they believe that I'm ignorant. My job is to continue to push on in spite of that. So how dare me sit here and take a stand and say, nah, they Bayesian. Nah, they Grenadian. Nah, they from Kenya. Nah, they from Liberia. They don't rock with me. I don't know what they rock with. It is not up to me to prove them wrong. It is only up to me to move in the right direction. So I don't have any prejudices or animosities or misbeliefs of who they are when I have an oppressor that I got to deal with that's in my face calling me a nigger. So I'm not going to separate myself from my people. That is dumb. That is ignorant. For me to create a mistrust amongst my own, I can only make it a true assessment based on their actions. Now, when their actions prove disloyal, when their actions prove that they are in alignment with my oppressor, then I come down on them. Truth, not a false narrative, not some make-believe bullshit. You understand? That's where we have to be when it comes to this. I've seen Euros go back to back, knife to knife, with me against my oppressor. I've seen it. Been in prison wars where I've seen Euros cut other Euros because they were in the uniform of the oppressor. I've witnessed that. Yeah. And I've witnessed black people running high when that shit start popping off. I've seen Latinos go gun to gun with black people in the yard when those oppressors came in those uniforms with sticks and pepper and all type of electric shock shit. I've witnessed it. I've witnessed us eat together too. So you gotta be careful who you deem your enemy. Now, if they have groups, peoples, organizations who distance themselves from us because they believe in what was taught to them by others who side with the oppressor, then so fucking be it. They don't transgress against you, they'll be all right. You can believe what the fuck you want to believe, as long as they don't transgress against you. Social media is allowing people to paint pictures that aren't truth. So we deal with truth. All right? Thus, we see that the primary, excuse me, hold on, no, I'm outside, mechanism which governed colonial society is preserved intact during the period of decolonization. That is to say that the settler never ceases to be the enemy, the opponent, the foe that must be overthrown. You get that? You get that? Not us. The opponent, the foe that must be overthrown. When you have agents and spies and co-conspirators in your mix, you're going to see them. You're going to see they're easy to deal with. As I always say, there's no true gangsters in your community. Because they're easy. You easily can kill people in your community. Their guards are down. The true gangsters go outside of their community. I never, ever was one to be in my community doing that shit. If they came and transgressed against me or one of mine in the community, then we did what we had to do. But I wouldn't cross that bridge to the Diamond District, to Wall Street, to Midtown Manhattan. Now I'm gangster for real. That's where we went. So we knew what our penalties were. Oh man. Again, the settler never ceases to be the enemy, the opponent, the foe that must be overthrown. The oppressor in his own sphere starts the process. A process of domination, of exploitation, and of pillage. Excuse me. And in the other sphere, the coiled, plundered creature, which is the native, provides fodder in the process as best he can. The process which proves uninterruptedly the docks of the mother country. In this becalmed zone, the sea has a smooth surface. The palm tree stirs gently in the breeze. The waves lap against the pebbles, and raw materials are ceaselessly transported, justifying the presence of the settler. And all the while the native, bent double, more dead than alive, exists interminably in an unchanging dream. The settler makes history. His life is an epic, an odyssey. He is the absolute beginning. The land was created by us. He is the unceasing cause. If we leave, all is lost, and the country will go back to the Middle Ages. Over against him, torpid creatures, wasted by fevers, obsessed by ancestral customs, form an almost inorganic background for the innovating dynamism of colonial mercantilism. So you see how they talk about the native? Without you, or without us being here, and this is the colonialists, y'all wouldn't be shit. So then when we write history, we are at the beginning, right? An epic, an odyssey. When we came to the continent, y'all were jigaboos. We gave this continent culture. This is history. This is how they write. You understand? So when you have people who tell you we need to be financially literate, we need to be degreed, learned in their institutions, this is what the fuck they telling you you should be. Like your oppressor. We should continue to rock in their belief systems in order to be accepted by them and elevate ourselves by their standards. See how dumb that shit sounds? So you didn't exist until they said you existed. You didn't have a culture until they said you have a culture. But you have conscious and woke people who begin at that point. Because there's no reference for them going back. Or the reference points for going back is only because of the scholarship of the Euro. Make it make sense. You dig what I'm saying? Make it make sense. Because that's where it starts. So I'm asking, at what point do you begin? Because now it's confusion. Well, if we don't believe in the Euro, and we have no true point of reference without using their language, where do we begin? Chuck all this shit out the window. Get rid of it, because again, we're in the new millennium. We're in the new age. We're in the new millennium. So therefore, we must have new thought and new action to create a true history in order for those that come behind us to believe in themselves. Right? So this is what hip-hop did. It got rid of everything that you inherited. It got rid of everything that you inherited and had a starting point. Everything that was used to create the 5 elements was from the ground up. Again, power from the street light made the place dark. Didn't even have proper electricity. Took vinyl records and switched the whole tone, switched the use of it. Microphones, speakers, clothing, things that you were supposed to use to paint, you created tagging and graffiti, bombs. Everything that hip-hop became was a distorted use of the resource that was there. You created everything from scratch. Everything from scratch. The language, everything. So now, why would you allow someone to create a disunity in that? By claiming FBA, ADOS, claiming all this other weird shit. By claiming all this other weird, non-factual shit. Because here, you inherited everything from the Euro. What was your scholarship? What was your scholarship before you got here? What was your religion? Right? What was your political ideology? What was your military beliefs before you got here? Seeing this stupid, young, dumb, ignorant bastard Excuse me, 11 in the morning, you blasting. You understand? What was it? There were specific things that we had to get rid of. So now, again, I ask you, what was original? What came from you? Were you Christian? Were you Muslim? Were you Jewish? Politically, what are you? Were you a Democrat? Were you a Republican? What was your military beliefs? Everything you inherited. You inherited it. So what did hip hop do? Said we don't want none of that shit. In the five elements, did you have a religion? No. In the five elements, was there a political belief? No. In the five elements, was there color? No. In the five elements, was there financial institution? No. So, at what part of that? Was it American? Was it democracy? And what part of it? So now, wasn't influenced at all by our oppressors, that we're going to allow people to come in and put separation between those who have acknowledged it and embraced it as one of the most revolutionary and liberating cultures in history. And you're going to let somebody who doesn't even represent that, don't represent hip hop at all, tell you who started it, how it should be moved, how we should look at people. Most of them conscious folks never been to a hip hop club. Don't play it. Can't tell you more than 3 or 4 MCs from it. Dancers, DJs, nothing. And you allow them to have comment on it. If that's not embodying the oppressor, I don't know what else is. If they're not embodying your enemy, I don't know who else is. Anybody that's going to separate the black man from the black woman from the black woman, the black man from the black man and woman from the black youth is your enemy. Stop giving them your attention. Stop sharing they shit. They're doing your enemy's work for you. We have no room for separation. There ain't no foundational black American. Because what is America if it isn't unjust to black people? So how dare you put black and American in the same sentence? What is a foundational American? When the foundation of America is black blood. You subject universal beings to a title like America, to a geographical location, when we are just as universal as the stars? Nah, nah, nah. So I'm gonna let y'all go with that this morning. Just a little piece, like I said, just a little piece. We ain't even get to a whole page. But that's enough for your ass until later. I don't like this interruptions. I gotta keep my head on a swivel. But we'll be back later, once I get cleaned up and all that, get the sweaty caps off and all that. But, that's a Sunday morning for your ass so far. Again, I love my moderators. I definitely love and appreciate the chat. Keep it here. All right? Don't sacrifice yourself for no bullshit. False narratives will get you killed. All right? If we haven't learned anything from those who came before us, we know that at every instance, there was a black hand that fed us death for our oppressors. I don't care if it was Patrice Lumumba, I don't care if it was Bishop, right? Maurice Bishop too, right? George Jackson, Huey Newton, Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad. Every step of the way, black hand played a role in that. We are not going to fall victim to that same shit. Trust and believe that. Salute, peace and power.